I've been on Booktube for about 8.5 months now, and in that time I've come to get to know quite a few different channels. Some of those channels are general Booktube channels, while others are more focused on specific series or genres. Regardless of the focus, the one thing that almost all Booktube channels have in common is their passion for the books they are reading and the desire to share that passion with as many people as possible. I've also found that almost the entire Booktube community, at least here on the fantasy side, is extremely kind and welcoming to all who show an interest in reading fantasy novels. Perhaps it is because we're so used to people looking down on our choice of genre, or perhaps it's because of the shared interest in something generally considered to be very nerdy, reading and fantasy. Regardless of the reason, almost all of us love it when more people join us in our discussions of fantasy books and media. So, having been in this community for nearly 3/4 of a year, I decided that I'd like to give back to the fantasy Booktube community in some way. I'd like to somehow bring some value to both the creators responsible for all the awesome content out there and to you wonderful people who continue to watch what we put out on a regular basis. So today, I'll be discussing my top favorite fantasy Booktube channels that I've gotten to know over the last couple of months. This is in the hopes that you all get to discover new awesome content and that these creators get some much deserved exposure as well. This will only be part 1, where I'll share the first 5 of these channels. Part 2 will come soon, so keep an eye out for that. Now, I will try to keep these to smaller and lesser known channels in general, though I will mention some larger ones too. Specifically, I won't be discussing 3 of the largest and most well-known channels purely due to how many people already know about them. However, I will give them an honorable mention right now. These 3 channels are, of course, Daniel Green, Murphy Napier, and Captured in Words. If you're new to Fantasy Booktube, I recommend you check them out for sure, since they're some of the biggest players in this space. But with all of that said, let's jump right into the list. And of course, the links to all the channels mentioned in this video will be linked in the description below. Me, My Skirt and I. The first channel I'd like to highlight is a channel named Me, My Skirt and I. Jackie does all kinds of fantasy related videos, including reviews and deeper discussions on the books she reads. She does a whole lot of Cosmere related videos as well, so I definitely recommend you guys check her out. In fact, she and I have launched a podcast together that you will be seeing regularly on the channel from now on. The first episode is actually airing this week, so definitely keep an eye out and definitely give Jackie's channel a watch as well. She's at about just under 750 subs, so let's see how close we can get her to that first 1,000 subs in time for the first podcast episode to air. If you like deeper discussions on fantasy worlds and characters with reference to classical, religious and philosophical literature, then Me, My Skirt and I is the channel for you. Jeremy Fee. If you're a fan of Booktube but are struggling to find someone who can give you a daily dose of the content you enjoy, then Jeremy is the YouTuber for you. Jeremy uploads every day and discusses all kinds of genres from thrillers to fantasy to sci-fi and even poetry. And best of all, he uploads a video every single day for you to enjoy. But maybe you're scared you'll fall behind with so much content to consume. Have no fear, Jeremy's videos are almost all short and to the point. He delivers bite-sized videos of about 5 minutes long on average. This way you get your daily Booktube fix in between all the daily errands you may need to run. I highly recommend Jeremy for those of you looking for more smaller creators to enjoy. The Fantasy Network. If you were a kid in the early 2000s or late 90s, you likely had a favorite wrestler or two considering how big professional wrestling was back then. Now, however, you're a bit older and an avid reader. Gone are the days that you would avidly watch the TV screen as your favorite wrestler pins their rival of the month. Jimmy Nuts from the Fantasy Network channel brings these two worlds together. Having been in the wrestling scene himself years ago, he's likely the buffest booktuber out there. He discusses all kinds of fantasy and sci-fi series on his channel and also does regular interviews with other creators on his channel. I've been subscribed to him for a while now and I highly recommend you guys check him out if you haven't yet. Jimmy is the macho man of the Booktube sphere, but he's just as much of an intellectual as he is a beefcake. Wait, that didn't come out right. Shardcast. Okay, so if you're a Cosmere fan and you haven't heard of the 17th Shard or of their podcast called the Shardcast yet, then you must have been living under a rock. The 17th Shard is the official fan site for the Cosmere and the official curators of the Coppermind, which is the Cosmere's official wiki. The 17th Shard team run a weekly Cosmere podcast called the Shardcast, where they will deeply explore many different aspects of the Cosmere and its lore. The cast of the episodes often shift around, but you will quickly come to know some of the core members who always make an appearance. They also end every episode with a little game you can participate in called Who's That Cosmere Character? These guys are probably the most well-versed on Cosmere lore out there and have been in the fandom since its infancy, so I highly recommend checking them out if you haven't yet. Shardcast is the cornerstone of Cosmere Booktube, and you owe it to yourself to check out their awesome channel. Kaya Reads. I was recently introduced to Kaya Reads, and I have to say I very much enjoy her content. If you like videos discussing different aspects of the Cosmere or just fantasy books and media in general, but you wish you could find a channel that does so with a ton of quirky humor, then Kaya is the way to go. Kaya finds a way to meme and poke fun at almost every different aspect of a book she's read in a way that will often leave you genuinely laughing out loud. She seems to still be in the middle of reading through the Stormlight Archive series, so there's likely even more funny Stormlight videos coming, but I highly recommend checking out the videos she did on Way of Kings and Word of Radiance. She's also done videos on Mistborn, and I can't wait for more Cosmere videos from her. If you're in the mood for a good laugh and some bookish discussion, then definitely check Kaya out as soon as possible. Now, these were just a handful of channels that I wanted to bring to your attention. But I'd also like to highlight many more channels that are more obscure or that does the kind of content you guys enjoy. So feel free to recommend some of the channels you guys enjoy, and I might include them in future parts of videos like this. Also, please remember to check out the links to all these channels in the description below and give them a chance. Jackie and I will be coming at you guys with the commencement of the podcast this week, so keep an eye on that as well. Anyway, that has been it from me for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name has been Raven, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everybody.